7 Prefab Quonset packages you can order today, and all 7 finish under $100,000. One clarification, in the first 30 seconds, because it changes what every number in this video means. What you buy is the kit. That kit is genuinely prefab and genuinely purchasable pre-punched steel arch panels, bolts, an assembly manual, and state-stamped engineered blueprints, backed by a 50-year coating warranty. Suppliers sell these DIY and do not install them. The envelope works like this. Kits run $6 to $20 per square foot. Finished and self-managed, these homes land at roughly $37 to $50. That is how 7 configurations stay under 6 figures. And every price in this video, every price any supplier will quote you carries an asterisk printed in the manufacturer's own fine print. One line on your order form is set by your county, not the catalog. Start with what actually shows up, because the word prefab is doing a lot of work in this category, and it is worth being precise. The truck brings corrugated steel arch panels, pre-punched at the factory with minimal cutting or drilling required on site. Grade 2 hex bolts with commercial-grade coating and serrated locking nuts. An assembly manual, and a set of state-stamped engineered blueprints reflecting the exact wind, snow, and seismic ratings your building department requires for residential use. Suppliers in this space are certified in all 50 states, which is a genuinely meaningful credential. The steel carries a 50-year warranty from the date of purchase. Now, the sentence that matters most, and I am quoting the industry rather than editorializing, all projects are sold as DIY, and the supplier does not provide installation services. So the package is the shell, the barndominium is what you finish. Both halves count in this video, because a number that includes only the first half is not a number about a home. 2 more details that live outside the quoted price. These buildings are designed around a standard keyway foundation, which you pour, and sales and use tax are not included in the price you see. The envelope then. Kits run $6 to $20 per square foot, depending on model, gauge, and supplier. Finished and self-managed, these homes land at roughly $37 to $50 per square foot. That spread is exactly how 7 configurations stay under $100,000, and it is also why none of them would if you handed the entire project to a contractor. You buy a prefab building, you finish a home. Every number here counts both. And the very first choice on the order form moves the price more than anything else you will decide. That choice is the model, and there are 4. Which one you take depends partly on the look you want and partly on the code and load requirements where you live, and those 2 considerations pull in different directions more often than you would expect. The Q model is the classic, the semicircle everyone pictures, and the most affordable of the 4, for a simple reason: it uses less steel to enclose the same square footage. The curve runs all the way to the ground, which is efficient structurally and costly spatially. You lose usable floor near the walls where the steel leans in. The A model is the most popular, and its profile most closely resembles a traditional building. Vertical sidewalls, familiar silhouette. If you care what the place looks like from the road or what an appraiser thinks of it, this is the profile that argues your case for you. The S model is the most versatile, also with vertical sidewalls, and it suits most applications without specializing in any of them. The X model is the most durable, carrying the highest wind and snow load ratings in the lineup, with a 412 pitched roofline that lets snow slide off rather than accumulate. The functional split, in one sentence: A and S have vertical sidewalls, X and Q have arched or angled ones. Widths run from 10 to 80 feet. And here is the industry's own warning, which is worth more than any price in this video. Map your use to your profile before anyone cuts steel. A late request for straight walls or a different end wall forces a requote, and getting it right early is the cheapest fix available on the entire project. 7 packages. Start small. Package 1. The cabin. Q model, 16 by 20, 320 square feet. Suppliers now sell dedicated cabin and tiny home lines, engineered to residential load requirements rather than storage shed standards. So this is a purpose-built small dwelling, not a shed with a bed in it. One open room, bathroom against the rear end wall, kitchenette along one side. Finished, it is the lowest total in this video by a wide margin, and it is the package most people should start with if they have never built anything. Package 2. The studio. Q model, 20 by 24, 480 square feet. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, real kitchen. Still the cheapest model per square foot, and still paying the curve tax at the edges. You will be planning furniture around walls that lean in. Package 3. The straight wall 1. Bed. S model, 20 by 30, 600 square feet. Here you spend up for vertical sidewalls and buy back the floor the Q model gives away. It is the most versatile profile in the lineup, and this is the first package on the list where a bookshelf sits flat against a wall without a framing workaround. One thing to understand about all 3 of these. At small footprints, the fixed costs, freight, end walls, the engineering package, the permit get concentrated into very few square feet. Those bills cost roughly the same whether your building is 320 square feet or 1,200. So, small is cheaper in total and more expensive per foot. Both things are true, and only one of them fits on a price tag. Now the sizes people actually raise families in. Package 4. The Longhouse. Q model, 24 by 36, 864 square feet. 1 bedroom at the rear, open living and kitchen forward, glass in the front end wall. This is the best value per square foot on the entire list, and the reason is geometric. Arches extend by adding standard length sections, so length is the cheap direction to build. You are duplicating a part the factory already makes, rather than engineering a wider span. Width is what drives cost. Every Mayor arch needs heavier steel to carry the same loads. So a long, narrow building is the arch playing to its strength, and your budget feels it immediately. Package 5. The Family 2-bed. A model, 30 by 40, 1,200 square feet. 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and the profile that reads closest to a traditional house from the road. That last part is worth more than it sounds. A building that looks conventional has an easier conversation with the neighbors, the zoning office, and eventually the appraiser. You are paying a small premium over the Q model for vertical sidewalls and a familiar silhouette, and in a lot of counties that premium buys you fewer arguments. At 1,200 square feet, self-managed, this is the largest genuinely conventional-looking package that still clears the $100,000 line, and it clears it only with discipline on every single item. Mid-band choices throughout. No upgrades that feel small in isolation. Hand this exact build to a general contractor and the envelope breaks the same afternoon. 2 packages left, and both of them exist to solve one specific problem. Package 6. The Snow Country Build. X model, 30 by 40, 1,200 square feet. Identical footprint to the last package, completely different physics. The X model carries the highest wind and snow load ratings in the lineup, and its 412-pitched roofline is the reason snow slides off rather than sitting there accumulating weight all winter. Suppliers engineer to the snow load provisions required by ASCE and the IBC, plus whatever area-specific code your jurisdiction adds on top. Here is how to think about this package. If you live somewhere snow load is a real number on a real form, this is not an upgrade you are choosing. It is the entry ticket, and the cheaper profiles are not actually available to you at the ratings you need. Better to learn that here than at the permit counter. Package 7, the Shop House. 40 by 60, 2,400 square feet, half of it finished. Living space at one end, working shop or garage at the other, all under one continuous arch with no wall separating the structures because there are no separate structures. And the arithmetic that makes this the sleeper of the list, unfinished space is cheap. Finish 1,200 square feet as a home to the same standard as Package 5. Leave the other 1,200 as bare shop with a slab and lights, and your total lands close to where the finished 1,200 square foot house alone would have landed. You did not get a second building for free, but you got it for the price of a slab and a door. 7 packages. Now the asterisk sitting underneath every price in this video, go to any supplier's product page, scroll past the photos, and find the fine print. There is a sentence there that reprices every building in the catalog, and almost nobody reads it. Arches are priced in standard 2 gauge, and that may not meet your snow or wind load requirements. Buildings can be designed in thicker steel to meet higher wind and heavier snow loads, and the price increases accordingly. That is the manufacturer talking about its own product. Read what it actually means. Every advertised Quonset price in existence is quoted at the thinnest standard steel in the lineup, including every number in this video. Whether that specific building is legal where you live is a completely separate question, and it gets answered by your county, not by the price tag. The gauge ladder runs 22, 2018, 16, and 14. Each step down in number is thicker steel and more money, and the engineering at the top of that ladder is genuinely impressive, with ratings reaching 300 pounds per square foot of snow load and 190 mile-per-hour winds. The capability is real. You just pay for every rung. So here is the sequence the industry recommends, and almost nobody follows. Call your permit office first, get your wind, snow, and seismic requirements in writing. Then take those numbers to a supplier and ask which gauge satisfies them. Doing it in that order means you neither fail an inspection nor pay for over-engineering you do not need, and the blueprints come back state-stamped to your jurisdiction's exact ratings, which is precisely why the answer is site-specific and the catalog number is not. The catalog quotes a building. Your county specifies one. Those are rarely the same building, which is one of several things no package price absorbs. Start with the category that catches nearly everyone. End walls, base connectors, spray foam, and doors sit outside most quoted kit prices, and together they add roughly 25 to 30%. Those are not accessories. Those are the difference between owning steel and owning shelter. Then the foundation, which deserves more respect than it gets. An arch drives vertical load, wind uplift, and outward lateral thrust down into its base. So your slab is not just a floor, it has to be sized for anchor reactions, soil bearing, frost depth, and drainage. Any non-slab approach needs sign-off from a structural engineer and the manufacturer. This is the one line where saving money quietly becomes dangerous. Insulation follows the same logic. Curved steel rejects bad insulation outright, so closed-cell spray foam is the practical route, and code requires a covering over foam in occupied space, which means the interior surface is a legal requirement rather than a Phase 2 decision. Then permits and financing, which are the two genuine headwinds in this category. Roof pitch and aesthetic conformity rules can fail an arch on paper regardless of how it performs in a storm. Most conventional lenders decline these homes, and appraisers frequently classify them as agricultural or temporary structures, which is exactly why phased cash is so common among people who actually finish these builds. It is often the available route rather than the preferred one. And two small ones that surprise people at checkout. Freight and sales tax both sit outside the quoted price. One page. Here is the whole thing on one page. 7 packages. 4 models. 1 envelope under $100,000. Finished, self-managed. The cabin at 320 square feet. The studio. The straight wall 1-bed. The longhouse. The conventional-looking family, 2-bed, the Snow Country X model, and the shop house that gets you a second building for the price of a slab and a door. What you buy is genuinely prefab and genuinely real. Pre-punched steel, bolt-together assembly, state-stamped engineering certified in all 50 states, a 50-year coating warranty. What you finish is the home. So here is the verdict, and I want the wording exact. This is simultaneously the most buyable alternative building in America and the least finished one. The industry has completely solved the problem of shipping you a permanent engineered structure cheaply. It has solved almost nothing about handing you a house. That is not a criticism. It is the entire reason these stay under $100,000. You are not being sold a home at a discount. You are being sold the hardest, most expensive part of a home at a discount and asked to supply the rest yourself. And if you take one thing out of this video, take the order of operations, because it is worth more than any package number on the list. County first, gauge second, catalog third. These arches were engineered to be dropped on bare ground by people with no training and stand for decades. 8 decades later, they still are. 2 answers in the comments, and be specific. First, which of the 7 fits your land? The cabin, the studio, the 1-bed, the longhouse, the 2-bed, the snow build, or the shop house? Give me the number. Second, before you price anything, call your permit office and ask what wind and snow loads they require. Post what they tell you. That number decides which building you are actually allowed to buy. I read every comment, and I answer build questions personally. We cover alternative builds every week here. Real costs, real timelines, what works and what does not. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you on the next build.